I always have to wait a couple of seconds because I've noticed that on my videos there's some crazy things going on even on this channel right now. So my name's Raven and hello, thank you for watching. I'm just going to do a quick update as to I went to the rally for the Calgary Newfie family, otherwise known as Chris and Christine Lee, and about the just to support them down at Peace Bridge yesterday at 1 o'clock. So I just wanted to comment on a couple of things first. Thank you to everyone who did come out. There was a much more, I think, I don't know, I found yesterday a little bit easier to talk to people, maybe because I approached them a little bit differently than I did at the Catholic School Board, but I was able to relay the message of this family and what's been going on to the family to about 10, 15 people, and some of them tried to look up right there on the spot one young fellow whose dad is a Calgary police officer and said that he was corrupt. It's actually kind of funny, not funny, but how realistic and true right there on the spot. But he tried to look up the RavenMoonstone on Rumble video, the Calgary Newfie family, and he got 404 error not found. So unless that video is actually posted with a link, nobody's seeing it. The other thing that's happened on that video is it was recorded 2 weeks ago, I think, 2 weeks ago or something like that. And they have scrubbed the numbers off and put it down to 0. Here on this station particularly, all my videos have been rearranged. You can't see hardly any of them anymore. And even myself, like I'll go look on your channel and usually my videos would all come up there in a row. Nope, that's not happening anymore. So it's the hammer's coming down even on me right now to get out this information. So what I will be doing for this family, after I tell you what happened yesterday, is I'm compiling a chart video for this family and specific people involved in this case. So you too can try and go do some research on it, and you will find something very interesting. No pictures, no data of some of these people even exists anymore on the internet. Like, it's truly ridiculous how much they're scrubbing of these people's information off the internet. So, first of all, the regular crowd showed up to support this family, and I'm super grateful. What happened yesterday with the Calgary City Police is all I'm going to say is shameful. So one of the ladies had brought her car up closer to Peace Bridge. There wasn't really a lot of people there, but to drop off these heavy speakers. And so somebody had reported this woman illegally parked, and so a big van with a big officer pulls up to walking around like, this with the fingers on the vest, like I'm wearing a bulletproof vest and I have a gun kind of stance. Actually, thank you, Tony. I was going to ask you for that, the Wayback Machine. So that's what I'm going to ask people to help me do, because simply impossible for some of this. So I'll tell you guys where you can find the information of the list of names, number one, involved in this case. And the second thing is I'm going to ask people for help to see if they can help find and dig up anything. I have been able to dig up things about the judge. But anyways, let's go back to the Calgary City Police. So yesterday, the guy shows up, the one van, and he's like, you guys need to turn down that speaker and you need to move this car and whatever. And another van showed up. So there's like now 2 police officers, one this way towards, they're blocking off both like both ways that people can walk around with their vehicles. They're illegally parked. And they come walking up, these other 2 guys come walking up to the family and assisting the other officers or whatever. And Chris and Christine say to the officers, we want to file a police report for our children, like the rape of our son. And the officers, I'm not exaggerating, the officers laughed at them and told them to go file one out at the police station. They already did that, and it got nowhere. Literally silence, crickets, District 6. So shame on you, Calgary Police. I think this is the most disgusting thing I've ever witnessed by Calgary Police, besides the shit that happened over the last couple of years with them harassing certain people. So my question is to you, light workers of the Calgary City Police. I'm not saying everyone's bad in there, but why isn't anybody helping this family? Like, that's what my situation is, my questions. So if they went to District 6, they went to family court, they've dealt with the social workers, they dealt with psychologists, they've dealt with doctors. So why isn't not one single person helping that's higher up? So on the brighter note, Rebel Media has done an interview with them, and a lot of people were interested in seeing that. They don't sometimes care, like, oh, you're an independent journalist, I don't really care about your opinion. And I get it because I haven't gone through fake media school and yada yada yada. I'm more of a critical thinker and think for myself. So one of the things I want to bring up, and I posted some of them on my Telegram, which is at RavenMoonstone Art, and I will be posting as much as I can there, unfiltered, about this story, and keep reposting it because, again, I'm filtered everywhere else, including on this channel. So one of my questions that I want to bring up is this ex-husband of Arlene Dickinson of Dragon's Den. He was a teacher in Didsbury, Alberta, which is about a half an hour outside of Calgary, north of Calgary. And he owned a big farm, and rumor has it that she still lived on that property and went to that property of her ex-husband's quite frequently. So his name was Harley Dickinson, and he was a teacher for many years. And he was charged in 2015 of sexual assault to a minor. So that was like videotaping a child under the age of 18, but he was a grade 1 teacher, so it was a 6 or 7-year-old child. So the same kind of as Owen Lee, the 6-year-old boy that was raped by Michael Gallant, the Catholic priest, or a Catholic principal that had him in his care. So these situations are very similar. This teacher in Didsbury was allowed to teach for 7 more years until he was found guilty. And as of this year, and then he shot himself in the head outside of his property by the mailbox after he was found guilty. Now, I was living very close to that town when this all happened, like super close. And yeah, it was interesting to hear the situation go on, and it just never got reported by any really major news outlets. So one of the things that's going on today that has to do with this family, whether you believe the link or not. So where would this Dickinson person had to go to court? Calgary court system. There's no court in Didsbury, literally, for these types of things in family and youth services. So they're either sent to Calgary or Edmonton. So who would have the judge been on some of these cases? The same judge that's being held accountable for the 7 Mohawk babies that have been abducted because of the Enbridge pipeline deal. You can go read all about it. 7 Mohawk babies taken, and it's the same judge that is involved with this Lee family. Okay. There's another case that father was denied the rights of his daughter. This one, he's quite graphic, and he talks about how The Judge Stephen Lipton had stolen his children, his daughter as well, and given them back to his ex, who was involved in the whole SRA. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. But the first one is very evil, and the second word is ritual, and the last word is abuse. So anyhow, so if these cases have been going on since 2011, 2009, these 7 Mohawk babies, I think, something like that. Like, what in the F? Why, like, yesterday I actually got one of 2 responses. Is, oh, I can believe that because of the Catholic priests. And I'm like, exactly. Why is this such a stretch? Like, use your heads, people. So it does seem like it's almost unimaginable because it's 1,000 monkeys with 1,000 typewriters couldn't make this crap up. But for me personally, seeing that Dickinson in a higher position, and just so you know, the guy that supported, what's his name now? I don't ever know these ding-dongs' names. He's the guy that just supported Arlene Dickinson's, she got a Jubilee, a Queen's Jubilee Award in 2012. Firstly, we all know what that means if you're in the know of the whole human trafficking situation. And the second thing is the guy that she does Dragon's Den with was the financial backer for this big crypto that just tanked. And this whole crypto that tanked was originally tied to BIDEN. So, and a whole bunch of money laundering. So how come this isn't they're not even apples falling off the tree. Like, honestly, flies attracting to shit, like, so fast. And the financial ties are what's inescapable. So we're not talking about just high-level covering up of these people who do these rituals with children for millions of years, but we're also talking about money laundering. And that's what all that crypto was about. That's what Bitcoin's about. So that's why I was very frustrated when I went to Ottawa and I saw people selling Bitcoin to the truckers. I'm like, what the hell? Don't you guys know that those things are tied together? So I already mentioned that Ronald in a former thing. My timeline with her ended on March 5th. Due to my health, and my job was over. I actually had many visions before I even went on that trip across Canada with Romana, and they all came true. And the last one that came true, when I was walking away from filming that actual scene that had taken place in my mind, I approached her and I said, my timeline with you is over. Firstly, because my body couldn't take it anymore. 15,000 plus kilometers on my body in 6 weeks was a lot. In wintertime in an RV, yeah, I don't even want to get into the frozen shitter situation, you guys. Like, that is a laughable story at best. So, anyways, regardless, there was the purpose behind, I felt, is I was following somebody who was exposing the corruption in the government. So I wanted to see how that story ended. And when it ended for me, I had to come home. And it literally took me probably about 3 or 4 months to physically heal from that, where I could just be feeling like I had normal sense around me. And plus, the other thing that happened that a lot of people don't realize is that we all walk around with things attached to us sometimes and we don't know it. And I had 3 attachments, like energetic attachments to me, which I'm not surprised of what I do. And as soon as I got home, I had them removed from me by a lovely man, thanks to my friend Robin. And it helped me, actually. It kind of cleared up some of the things that I felt like I was blocked with. So I had to get quite a few healings and do healings for myself. So that's pretty much what I've been doing since March 5th. So that's, if you're asking what it was, that's why. So, and I don't believe in kind of revisiting timelines of negativity if it's just about an ego that was damaged or was damaging. To me, that's, I don't know, it's irrelevant to how the story ends. So the ending isn't for everybody. And a lot of things, like even there, I talk about Ottawa a lot when I talk about the Lee family case, because it was frustrating. I would speak to people. I'm like, okay, so we got the whole narrative about the medicine, and we got the whole thing about not wanting to be forced, but you do know there's nobody there. There is big blue gates around Parliament. You weren't allowed on the lawn after February 5th. And there are certain timed events where I'm like, that just seems a little too coincidental for her not knowing stuff, Romana not knowing stuff. Like, it was just, so I couldn't explain some things that happened. I really couldn't, other than maybe she knew something that I didn't. But some of the things that I was frustrated with is that these people, like the one of the organizers of it that I spoke to, I asked him about, well, how come you're not talking about other things like the corrupt government, and how what the flag represents, and the human trafficking, Highway of Tears. This is the biggest stage in the world right now, you guys. Like, open it up to more corruption that's going on behind these gates than just stopping at it. Freedom. What is true freedom? Freedom is speaking about everything. Everything. And that's why I've been frustrated, because it never got past anything other than we don't want to be trapped. My question to the truckers right now is, what are you doing at an Alberta border? Like, I don't understand that mentality of collecting money for something. You're fighting the courts that are literally the corrupt a-holes that are stealing children. So you're taking yourself from a sovereign being of freedom and standing up for your rights to yelling at your captors and going to their venues so you can participate in their fraudulent fines and activities that they do to our person, our dead entity. I'm a living being. I don't subscribe to that. I don't understand it, and I don't stand under their laws. And yes, all of you RCMP police, all of that you're watching, hi, I love you. I send you light and love. But I don't understand why you are on, the RCMP in specific, are on a guilty court verdict of a January 15th of 2022 this year. You are convicted guilty in an international criminal court where they do tribunals at the highest level, like the whole Nuremberg thing, So when you're watching a movie and there's all this espionage and this person did a bad thing about, I think The Interpreter is a pretty good one. It's a great movie. This person was convicted in a criminal court for crimes against humanities and blah, blah, blah. Those are literally legal, lawful courts. So why, and they know they're on it, the two that I talked to anyways, they knew they knew about that guilty verdict. There's 10,786 corporations tied to that. So a lot of people, some people wouldn't have known this information had it not been delivered by some person claiming to be the queen of the Kingdom of Canada. So that's just my interpretation on that timeline, is some of the information that I know I saw people wake up to on the East Coast especially, were like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I talk to people in Ottawa that want everything that NESARA, I think I spelled it right, ERA, stands for, which is everything that is our God-given right on this planet returned to us, along with patents and all of this wonderful stuff. That's what is owed, and freedom from this darkness. So it was yesterday a very interesting day for me. I felt the energy shifted with, I'd say, probably about 25 to 40% of the crowd that walked by in Calgary. And I really am grateful for those people's time and the fact that they wanted to know the truth. And they held themselves to it. One guy stood there and he thoroughly engaged with everything that was going on, and he wants to spread the message. I sat and talked to a mom and her partner, and literally, after about 4 sentences, tears in her eyes, knowing that this should not be going on in our city, should be not going on anywhere in the world. So I want people to use their critical thinking when thinking about this case. Like, we all know that it happens. So why can't we spread the word a lot more to get this out? Because it's not just about the Lee children. If Owen had this happen to him in grade 1, by this pedo principal, Michael Gallant, at St. Stephen's Catholic School in Calgary. Yeah, I'm going to say your name. I don't care. You can slap me with a please apologize letter like you did to the family at 1 o'clock yesterday as the rally started. No kidding. They got their second notice served on them from the Catholic School Board to stop saying what they're saying about the Catholic pedo principal. No, I'm not going to. No, it's not going to happen. Because if I'm not a journalist investigating, like, what am I here for? So I have the freedom of speech to say whatever I want, and so do these parents. The system has their children, and that's all we're asking. Just return them. So, yeah, I agree with you there, Rick. So anyways, I really just appreciate all your time. I am doing a lot of investigation on, if you please want to go look on the Canadian Police Report.ca. There is, I just typed in the word sexual in the search word, and all these sexual abuse files started coming up. And there was one that I'm going to include in my chart video. Firstly, there was one that was just recently found out from 1981 by a guy in Edmonton. And I lived in Edmonton in 1981, interesting enough. And there was an incident when I was walking through a park by West Edmonton Mall. Me and my friend Sandra ran through the park because the guy was chasing us with a trench coat. Literally, we hid for our lives. We were so scared. I'm not joking. So, wondering if it's the same creeper. Anyways, he just got charged and found guilty of sexual assault from the 1981 thing. Calgary man was charged on October 14th. There was one Winnipeg police arrested and charged for sexual assault exploitation against a teen by a martial arts school teacher. So here's the one that just made me want to vomit. 29 charges. This was just October 27th or somewhere towards the end of the month. This is the most recent one. 29 charges against Moncton, New Brunswick teacher. Okay. Spanning over 55 years. 55 years. Okay. Dating from 1967 to 2022. A Moncton teacher. Moncton, New Brunswick, for those of you who aren't in Canada. So, 29 charges in 55 years. I call BS. There's way more than that. So, and that's what I'm saying about this Owen Lee case and these children taken, is that if he's one that and his family stood up, then how many other children under Michael's care have been raped? How many of them have herpes? Okay? Like, why should a 6-year-old boy have to endure this? And then when he was taken to the group and foster homes, pigtails, nail polish, the whole hormonal therapy, jabs, the whole works. We're talking like they kidnapped and are medically torturing these children and emotionally torturing, don't forget, physically torturing. Okay, so out of the 5 family members here in the city, or I don't know where the 3 are, but those family members, 4 of them were taken in underground tunnels. The 2 girls were tied up on mattresses in underground tunnels. What? Like the parents taken underground tunnels, jail cell, jail cell, jail cell, jail cell, jail cell. So why can't people believe that? These are 2 people fighting to get their children back. Every time they go to fight their kids back, some director charges them with physical assault, stealing a purse, some baloney, and they get arrested again. So it is corruption at the fullest, and I need more people participating in reunification and justice for this family. I really do. It's very super important to me. Like if we haven't gone these 3 years fighting for children, these children, the 7 Mohawk babies, that other man's child, all of these children, all children matter. Not just one color or the other. They all matter. When you research these corrupt judges, you will see they target Indigenous families. So if you've ever cared about one person that was in a residential school, you will do your due diligence and follow these reports. Go look up 7 Mohawk babies. Go read that horrible report because they want to stop. They were against the ring road. They were against the pipeline. That's why these 7 babies were taken. So ask yourself, what is going on in our system if we can't all collectively stand up? So I want you to go, if you're on Facebook, go to Freedom for Space My Children. It's linked on my Facebook to the Calgary Newfie video that you're going to find linked in this YouTube video. So I'm not going to stop talking about this. I'm calling out truckers to come stand up and help this family. We totally need your support and your big burly muscles and voices, because this is when freedom matters most. Be thankful it wasn't your children. That's all I can say. Like, people walking by laughing, I'm like, oh my God, I hope it's never going to happen to your children. Because I would be out here fighting for your child too. I really would. It's all children, no matter what. So thank you for your time. I really do believe military is the only way that this family will be reunified with their children. And I pray that anything that you want to do to help this family, you can send them an email of support to christinewall17@hotmail.com, and spelt exactly like it sounds, christinewall17@hotmail.com. And they also are graciously accepting any donations to help file. They're filing articles right now, and they all have to be registered mail against every single person, their audits they're doing. So I can't thank enough people for what you've done already on this channel. I know they are so grateful, and they tell me that you have been very supportive, so that just means a lot to me. So I'm not going to start crying, but I'm just truly thankful. I'm sitting in gratitude because I really want these kids to come home and just be reunited with their family. So please send your prayers to Tristan, Tegan, and Owen to be reunited with their mom, Christine, and Chris Lee. And please watch the video. We're asking that you share the video. Go find the documents on the page that she's posted of all the names, all the addresses, and start. If you have your kids in Catholic school, phone your Catholic school board. If you phone the Calgary City Police and ask them why there's no investigation. We need to support this family in droves and numbers, however that looks. If you're from another country, I would be writing emails. Look up the Calgary City Police, District 6, write them an email. I don't know how else we can alert as many people as we can, but this story does need to be shared, and it does need to be heard, and it does need to be honored. So that's all I'm asking people to do. So thank you again. I appreciate every second of your time, and I do wish you all light and love, and no matter what it is we're battling, we all do need to stick together and shine our bright light on the truth. That's what matters the most. So thank you very much.